I was just going to call my kids up to light the chalice.
Hi, Evelyn. I'm going to have to mute you. They're close to starting.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to get started because we have a lot of announcements. I'm Idalis. Nice to see everyone here on Sunday. We have a lot of announcements. So the first one is the fellowship would like to serve the public during fundraisers and possibly provide food assistance, like a soup kitchen, for instance. The kitchen was designed to fulfill the health department requirements for doing this and has been updated to fulfill newer requirements. To move forward, the fellowship needs to have a member who already has a food manager certification or who is willing to take a test to do so. If you have the certification and would like to serve as a food manager for the fellowship or are interested in taking the test, please contact Marcia or Scott McDonald for more details. Okay. If you enjoy bonfires, our Covenant of UU Pagans chapter invites you to a vernal equinox bonfire today at 12:30. Just email cuups@uufom.org for the address. And we invite anyone interested in becoming a member to join one of our upcoming orientation sessions. The first is this coming Wednesday at 6 p.m. Dinner and childcare will be provided, so please sign up. And next Sunday, please join us for a service led by Reverend Eric titled Give Me a Break, about knowing our limits, growing our awareness, and possibly engaging in personal transformation. For anyone interested in learning about the endowment fund and how you might support it, seats are still available for the endowment luncheon on Sunday, March 30th. Please sign up in the events alcove outside the door here or contact Wendy. All right, I think I'm halfway through them now. All right, we invite all to come to celebrate the life of longtime member Bruce Johnson on Saturday, April 5th at 2 p.m. If you are able to provide baked goods, please let Gisela know. Or Beth Sperry. Beth more than Gisela. All right. So we need your donated items for our fundraising auction in the next 2 weeks. We have an Easter breakfast in about a month, and we have seats available for the Great Lakes Loons Pride game in June and a whole lot more. So please watch your screens, your e-news, your email, your Facebook, one of those ways we got to get through to you, all right? So let's see. We now invite you to end our service by listening to the first 2 verses of Words That We Hold Tight, with words by Bishop Dr. I practiced this, Adeji Ishola, set to a traditional Yoruba tune shared by Melanie Willison and Reverend Eric.
And Andrew Schultz.
And Andrew.
And Andrew Schultz.
Words that we hold tight won't let us go. Paths we don't follow will haunt us so. What will undo us is not our friend. Show us, O Spirit, how to befriend. Show us how to forgive to all who live. Show us forgiveness that we may live. To speak of loving is not to love. lies move among us, below, above. When we are raging, needing to mend, show us, O Spirit, how to befriend. Show to us how to forgive to all who live. Show us forgiveness that we may live. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Midlands Sunday service today. What did I call it? Repair and Reconciliation. I am your minister, the Reverend Eric Severson. Helping lead today's service is Worship Associate Idalis Rivera Miller, accompanist and music coordinator Melanie Willison, choir director Andrew Schultz. Kevin King will be joining us, and our choir will share their musical gifts as well, with Sarah Ness Warren on AV and Susan Meyer assisting folks online today. A special welcome to any visitors we have with us today. We hope you find here the love and care of a spiritual community you may have been searching for. If you have any questions, just let us know, and please sign the guest book before you leave today. Now, respecting one another's personal space, we invite you to briefly introduce yourself to someone you've never seen or haven't seen in some time. And if you'd like to wave to the folks at home, the camera is right up in the back. So, welcome everyone.
Are we doing time for all ages? Yeah.
So,
All right. Just the girls.
okay.
I don't know what to call them. The Cruff Miller girls.
Thank you again, everyone, and welcome. I'll invite the Cruff Miller girls forward to join Idalis in lighting our chalice. That's you, girls.
Cruff Miller girls, let's go.
And for the chalice lighting today, I've chosen the words, "Trust must be rekindled" by the Reverend Scott Taylor. You can do it anytime. Either way. We gather today to hear the call of trust. Though our hearts have been bruised by broken promises and dreams deferred, may we listen again for that longing to repair and to be repaired, that hunger to start anew. Like this flame, trust is something that needs to be rekindled again and again. May today spark a new fire and a new match. I'll ask all the young folks forward today for our time for all ages. What a bunch. Thanks for coming today, everybody. Well, great. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad to see you. Let me begin by asking if you know what this word means. No.
Transformation.
Yes?
It means to turn into something. Like I can transform into a fish.
To turn into something, like transform into a fish, yeah? What she said. Yeah?
It's to transform into something, and dead fish.
To change into something, like a dead fish.
Dead fluffy fish.
Yes.
Transformation is turning into something like that you can turn into or you want to turn into.
Yeah. Turning into something you want to or can turn into, yeah.
So yeah, like what you could turn into, like when an armadillo could like roll up into a ball, it's transforming into a ball.
Yeah, like an armadillo turning into a ball. How fantastic. Yes. A toy. We can transform into a toy. So it's almost butterfly time, right?
Yeah.
Do they transform?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that cool?
For a life cycle.
They go through a life cycle just like us, but we don't transform quite like they do, right? So, in Unitarian Universalism, we like this idea of transformation. It's one of the values we try to live by. It's not just possible, it's always happening. Transformation is always happening, or it could happen in all of our lives, in the world and everywhere. So I'll share a little piece here called The First and the Last by Unitarian Universalist religious educator Martha Dallas. Who here knows from experience that life is not fair? We know this, don't we? Life is just not fair. And I really don't think it ever has been. But what can we do? We generally just shrug and accept it, right? It's not fair. But there was a man once, one of many throughout history, who refused to just shrug off the injustices of the world. Life was not fair, but that was not okay with him. This man, it is said, was a great and wise teacher, and also a prophet. And millions of people around the world are inspired by his teachings. Who do you think I'm talking about? Yeah. Martin Luther King Jr., good idea.
My dad.
Your dad! Fantastic! Your dad! Octavian. The Roman Emperor Octavian. Who else? Who am I talking about? There once was a man named Jesus.
Yeah, I was gonna think of that.
Jesus. Oh yeah, him! That's right, that guy. Well, Jesus stood up and spoke out and fought for fairness and justice, right? In fact, it is written that he said something about this that is quite curious. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. What does that mean? The first shall be last, and the last shall be first.
It means like, I just,
It's okay. We all lose it sometimes. Yeah.
I think it means like it's a circle, and sometimes the first will be the last is the first.
I like that. You could think of it as a circle or a cycle. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure what's meant by this, but my guess would be there are several meanings. But I've got an idea of one way we might understand it. We might understand it if we think of what it feels like to be first and what it feels like to be last. So, help us understand what it feels like to be first. Maybe you've had this experience yourself, or maybe you can imagine it. How does it feel to be first, or to be the best, or to be number one, or come out on top, or have the most? What do you think? What's it feel like to be first? Really good.
It feels kind of exciting mixed with happy.
Exciting mixed with happy. Yeah. Anybody else? Lonely? It could feel lonely. What else? How does it feel to be first? We can feel undeserving of it. Sure.
Depending on what it is, it could be scary.
It could be scary being first, right? You go through that door. No. Right? Now, what about being last? What does it feel like to be last? Or to be the worst? Or to come in last, be at the bottom, to have the least, or have hardly anything at all? Yeah.
You can feel happy.
You could feel happy.
Sad.
You could feel dead? Yeah, I suppose. Oh, sad. I'm sorry. Yes, we could feel sad. Yeah.
Today I got last in Dress to Impress, and I'm expecting most girls will know what that is. It's a game on Roblox. And I felt angry, but when I calmed down, I felt like life's not fair.
We can feel angry. Yeah, when life is not fair.
And I felt
Who else?
happy I felt happy when I got last because I'm not going to be with a big crowd that's
We could feel happy sometimes. Yeah.
defeated.
Defeated. Yeah, it's easy to feel defeated when we come in last, right? Yeah. Well, thank you. So I think that fairness and justice might just have a chance if people who know what it feels like to be first and people who know what it feels like to be last could share with each other how that feels for them. And I think the world might start to become a little more fair and balanced for everyone if the people who already know too well what it feels like to be last could know what it feels like to be first. I can imagine that those of us who usually are last and those who are usually first, if we could share our feelings with our experiences with one another, each of us might begin to experience transformation. Yeah? Understanding one another can help us transform. So we can listen to one another in trust and compassion and transform one another on the inside. So Jesus believed that a just society was possible. There is hope. He taught that it would create heaven on earth. Heaven right here on earth. What do you think of that? Okay. It's going to take some getting used to. Thank you all. Let's sing our kids off to their activities today. Remember the word transformation. We hold you in our hearts with love, as free as
We invite you to. Okay. Okay. We invite you to sit or stand as you wish to sing our opening song, number 179, Words That We Hold Tight, with words by Bishop Dr. Ajijish Ishola, set to a traditional Yoruba tune, sorry.
Words that we hold tight won't let us go. Paths we don't follow will haunt us so. What will undo us is not our friend. Show us, O Spirit, how to befriend. Show us how to forgive to all who live. Show us forgiveness that we may live. To speak of loving is not to love. Lies move among us, below, above. When we are raging, needing to mend, show us, O Spirit, how to befriend. Show us how to forgive to all who live. Show us forgiveness that we may live. When love is doubtful, choice is not clear, we turn to worship to cast out fear. Teach us forgiveness, needing to bend. Show us, O Spirit, how to befriend. Show us how to forgive to all who live. Show us forgiveness that we may live. Thank you. Please be seated. I invite you into a time of prayer, meditation, or reflection for a pastoral response titled A Prayer for 8th Grade Boys by the Reverend A.J. Van Tyne, which I've adapted for us all. Spirit of life, grant us the strength to nurture in ourselves and in every young person we have the privilege to know the gifts of patience, curiosity, and compassion. To the person at the edge of adulthood, to the person at the brink of despair, for you who feel rejected or not enough, for you who feel the unfairness of the world but don't know what to do with it. May your longing for belonging be met with compassion as well as structure. And as you strive for your place in this world, may you choose always the gentler, more cautious, and wiser ways of being. As you explore reactions and test limits, may your edgy jokes be met with firm boundaries, rooted in curiosity rather than shame. As you practice tenderness and vulnerability, may your heartfelt tears be met with warm embraces, infused by solidarity rather than ridicule. As you experience the highs and lows of life, may you feel your every emotion fully, naming and making friends with each one. As you gather knowledge and chart your own path, may you be savvy to the lies of charlatans who would tempt you with the easy path of blaming others. As you seek companionship and physical affection, may you respect boundaries and strive for mutually beneficial relationships of trust and safety. As you make friends and build community, may they bear the marks of true belonging, the belonging that doesn't make you cut off parts of yourself to fit in, the belonging that doesn't ask you to blame others, the belonging that doesn't require you to treat others as less than human objects, the belonging that welcomes all your joy and sorrow and anger and confusion and humor and experiments and mistakes and loves you through it all, with a love that will tell you when your words and actions hurt others, with a love that will heal your own hurt as well. To the person at the edge of adulthood, to the person at the brink of despair, to the person hearing your own story in this prayer, to the person yearning to grow beyond what has come before, may you grow strong by showing compassion, grow brave by being vulnerable, grow wise by thinking critically, grow fair by listening deeply, grow virtuous by accepting boundaries, grow powerful by seeking truth, grow resilient by knowing thyself. May you know love, may you know gentleness, and may you flourish into the great potential unfolding before you. Amen, and blessed be. Our first interlude now is shared by our choir. If they would come forward, please. It is Here Comes the Sun with words and music by George Harrison, arranged by Matt and Adam Podby, and shared, as I said, by our choir, directed by Andrew Schultz.
comes the sun. Here comes the sun. Little darling, it's been a long, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here.
Thank you, choir. That was beautiful. All right. So we're going to get into the reading today. Experts from an article posted in Psychology Today in 2013 called Building and Repairing Trust, Keys to a Sustainable Relationship by David Bedrick. First, his caveat. Sorry. There are clearly some breaches of trust that cannot be fully repaired. I'm not suggesting that a person who is physically violated should work it out. You alone will know if the bridge of the relationship is irreparably broken. You must trust yourself to know this and act accordingly. Why is trust one of the most written about and researched topics? Simply put, because many of us have been betrayed. Betrayal has two parts: a violation of a spoken or unspoken agreement, and two, a resulting injury. These betrayals, when not addressed, can create wounds and scars that limit intimacy in relationships. How can trust be repaired and rebuilt? The first step is to become fully aware of the nature and the extent of the hurt you feel. Ask yourself, how deep is the hurt or pain you suffer? Does the betrayal trigger earlier hurts, exasperating the pain and suffering? Does the hurt linger for days, months, or even years? Second, the person or group that betrayed you must really see and acknowledge the hurt. The one who betrayed you must not only take some responsibility for the hurt, but also acknowledge the injury and honestly express genuine feelings. Commiserate with the hurt, such as remorse, compassion, upset, and so on. Going deeper, living a life where betrayal is inevitable. Trying to create a life where betrayal can never occur can cause us to withdraw, be too wary of taking risks, and insulate us from being truly alive. Betrayal is inevitable. Sometimes it's as simple as one person agreeing to be a certain kind of partner and later learning that they have needs and desires that they can no longer suppress or accommodate. In addition, we all have a shadow. Qualities, needs, and capacities that are not fully known to us. These shadowy aspects can be hurtful, in part because they are unconscious and express themselves without our care, sensitivity, or sense of responsibility. It may be our anger, vengeance, selfishness, jealousy, resentment, fear, or meanness, or it could be our need to feel free, important, powerful, or even beautiful. Trying to make these qualities go away or promising not to ever express these qualities is simply a veritable impossibility. We cannot promise not to be something that is a part of us, especially when we are barely conscious of these parts. Trying to control our own and other shadows is often suppressive, destined to fail, and often leads to an explosion of these qualities in unexpected and more problematic ways. How can your relationship thrive given that betrayal is unavoidable? Well, first, get to know yourself and your partner, especially those things that you may not like, because ignoring the shadow of a person you are in a relationship with is common, especially at the beginning of the relationships, and putting our best foot forward can inadvertently hide our own darker side. Thus, it is important to make a conscious effort to explore, discuss, and be open to learning about these parts of ourselves and others. Second, begin to trust that you and the other person really have those qualities and will sometimes express them. That means that promising not to express these qualities cannot be trusted. Trust in this case is not built on the hope or the promise of not being hurt, but built on a kind of deep honesty of who you are and who the other person really is. Finally, learn over time that you can respond and take another step in relationships, even after hurts and betrayals have occurred. This takes a new kind of trust, the trust in ourselves to be aware of our hurts, express our hurts, and address the injury and breach with our partner. Essentially, you are saying, I trust that there are times you will hurt me and I will hurt you. I even trust that sometimes this hurt will be a breach of an agreement we have. However, I also trust that we can take steps to address these hurts and breaches and even turn the process over time into a strengthening of our relationship.
Thank you, Melanie. Once again, you transport us. It is a simple fact that life often is not fair. Children are abused or abandoned. Innocents are kidnapped and murdered. Fools and charlatans rule nations. Agreements are severed. Laws are broken. We betray one another. It is a simple fact that we humans often do not live up to, do not deliver on our promises. What are we to do? How might we regain trust, repair relationships, and restore our covenants? In today's Time for All Ages, religious educator Martha Dallas recognized, too, that life is just not fair. She came at this problem from a perspective of justice, and she invoked the words of Jesus, his vision that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. The implication being that we should not simply shrug off the injustices of the world, but like Jesus, work to resolve them. For Dallas, the answer lay in clear and honest communication. Fairness and justice might just have a chance, she said, if people who know what it feels like to be first understand what it feels like to be last, and vice versa. If those who are usually last, she wrote, and those who are usually first could share the feelings in their experiences with one another, each might begin to experience a transformation. When we can share our feelings with one another in a way that is safe, when we can listen to one another in trust and with compassion, we can begin to transform one another on the inside. And when we start to be changed on the inside, she wrote, we will begin to act differently in the world. Because so many of us Unitarian Universalists are come-outers, that is, have been harmed by other faith traditions, have experiences and identities outside the mainstream, I think we understand and value the power of personal transformation. It's one of the key values that we try to live by in service of love. And in my experience, transformation or potential transformation is not just possible, it's always happening everywhere, including within us, between us, and beyond us. Dr. Ishola's lyrics today wisely recognized that to speak of love is not to love. They recognized that lies move among us, that love can be doubtful, choices unclear, that we may need to rage, and that we will need to mend. As a strategy toward resolution, his lyrics called on us to learn friendship and forgiveness, to make love our end. Well, that can be a tall order. Good and worthy and noble, but not always possible. David Bedrick, in today's reading, began with a caveat that some breaches of trust cannot be repaired, that someone who feels violated should not feel compelled to work it out, that each of us will know if the bridge of relationship is irreparably broken, and to trust ourselves to act accordingly. He went on to describe how the injuries resulting from betrayal can leave us with scars that limit intimacy in relationships. He then outlined steps for repairing and rebuilding trust. First is to be fully aware of the nature and extent of the hurt you feel by asking yourself questions such as, how deep is the pain? Does the betrayal trigger earlier hurts? Does the hurt linger? Second, the person or group that betrayed you must really see and acknowledge the hurt. They must not only take responsibility for the hurt, but also acknowledge the injury and honestly express genuine feelings of commensurate with the hurt, remorse, compassion, and so on. Bedrick then asked us to understand that betrayal is inevitable, that trying to avoid it will keep us from being truly alive. He pointed out that we all have a shadow, qualities, needs, and capacities that are not fully known to us. These shadowy aspects can be hurtful, in part because they are unconscious and express themselves without our care, sensitivity, or sense of responsibility. In other words, we are not saints, and trying to suppress our anger, vengeance, selfishness, jealousy, resentment, fear, or meanness is virtually impossible. They will come out and affect other people. Bedrick then highlighted 3 things to help relationships thrive despite our broken promises. First is get to know yourself and your partner or friend, especially those things you may not like. Ignoring or downplaying our shadows is common, but unhelpful. Instead, we must make a conscious effort to explore, discuss, and be open to learning about these parts of ourselves and others. Some of you may know how hard that is. Second is trusting that, yes, we do have those negative qualities and will sometimes express them. Yes, betrayal is unavoidable. Finally, we can learn to respond to future lapses in healthful ways. This takes a new kind of trust, he wrote. The trust in ourselves to be aware of our hurts, express our hurts, and address the injury and breach with our partner. We must be honest in our communications, perhaps saying something like, I trust that there are times you will hurt me and I will hurt you. I even trust that sometimes this hurt will be a breach of an agreement we have. However, I also trust that we can take steps to address these hurts and breaches and even turn the process over time into a strengthening of our relationship. This week marked the vernal equinox and the return of sunlight to the northern hemisphere. It's an apt metaphor, I think, for the hope that might come with strengthening our personal relationships, whether we're at home, when we enter these doors, or as we're out in the wider community. We may have felt that it's been a long, cold, lonely winter of the soul, when it seems like years since we felt heard or held, felt welcomed or understood, felt loved or valued. Then when we recognize the problems and do the dedicated work necessary to resolve them, we may notice that the ice, whatever it may be, defensiveness, depression, fear in our own or in others' hearts, is melting, and a bit of clarity returns, and perhaps a bit of hope. I won't go so far as saying, like the choir song does, that it's all right. But I do believe that with attention, openness, and humility, transformation remains possible within, between, and beyond us. Some of you are familiar with researcher and storyteller Brené Brown. In her book, Braving the Wilderness, she identifies the components of trust with an acronym, BRAVING, B-R-A-V-I-N-G. B is for boundaries, naming and respecting what's okay and what's not okay for each other. R is for reliability, doing what we say we will do and being authentic. A is for accountability. Some of these sound very similar. Accountability, rather than blaming, rationalizing, or making excuses, we own our mistakes, acknowledge the pain we cause, and make amends. V is for vault, or confidentiality, not sharing information or stories that are not yours to share, holding in confidence what we say to each other, and not gossiping. I is for integrity, practicing the values we claim are most important to us. N is for non-judgment, being able to ask for or offer help to and from others without judging or feeling judged. And G is for generosity, being generous in our assumptions, assuming good intentions when things go wrong, and asking about them. We might find this device, this acronym, useful in nurturing our personal relationships. And so many of these ideas apply not only to our more intimate relationships and close friendships, but to our more casual, but no less important relationships with one another here in this congregation and with people out in the world. Unitarian Universalism, our fellowship, offers us a belonging that doesn't make us cut off parts of ourselves to fit in. Rather, it welcomes all our joy and sorrow, anger and confusion, humor and experiments and mistakes, and loves us through it all. It is a love that will tell us when our words and actions hurt others. A love that will tell us that can heal our hurts, our own hurts as well. We strive here to meet one another's longing for belonging with love, and to nurture in ourselves and one another patience, curiosity, and compassion. And institutions, like people, are not perfect. Sometimes we don't live up to our promises. But here we do have faith in transformation. and in the transforming power of love. We are dedicated to one another and committed to doing the hard work required to regain trust, repair relationships, and restore our covenants. My hope is that we might remember Bedrick's and Brown's suggestions if and when we do fail one another. When life is not fair, when we feel rejected, not enough, or on the edge of despair, may we know love again. May we choose gentleness and compassion, and may we transform and flourish into the great potential unfolding before us. May it be so, and amen.
In accordance with our values and the stirrings of our hearts, we now invite you to support our fellowship's mission with your financial contributions. If you wish to pay towards your pledge with cash or check, envelopes are available just outside the door. We appreciate and welcome your donations with gratitude. Thank you. And as we invite our offering, we also invite you to reflect further with more of Confessions in the Moonlight by Joe Hisashi, shared by Melanie Willison. Thank you. We invite you now to sit or stand and join in singing number 1023, Building Bridges, with words by the Women of Greenham Common Peace Occupation, set to a contemporary English Quaker round.
We would like to try and sing this in a round, but if we can first sing it through once, we've sung it before, and then we'll split up with people on that side singing with Eric, and then we'll join in over here. And let me grab my note again.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Let's start on this side.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our our voices and all of our visions.
With
Friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Again, building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you. Will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions.
With
Friends, we
all of
could
our
make
voices
such
and
sweet
all of our
harmony.
visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Gisela, do you want to come up or do you want me to just announce it? Okay. I'm going to invite Gisela up to give one last announcement.
It's a little bit early, guys, but 4 weeks from now, we are having Easter on April 20th. So we are planning an Easter breakfast again, and we hope as many as of you can join us. It's been a lot of fun. Last year, we had a big turnout, and it was a lot of fun. So if you want to sign, we have a sign-up sheet out here in the front. I think it's in the alcove. Julie's put one out. You can sign up with attendance, and there are a couple things that we need you to bring. But most of everything is going to be provided, okay? Eggs and casseroles and pancakes and the whole cadoodle. So please sign up. You have some time yet. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Gisela. Thank you all for coming. Thank you to our hospitality, religious education, and behind-the-scenes worship volunteers. After our chalice extinguishing and postlude, please help yourselves to coffees, snacks, and conversation. Thank you again for being with us.
Easter's going to be a blast. To extinguish our chalice, I have these words titled In the Small Moments by the Reverend Angeline Jackson. May we remember that trust, like love, grows in small moments, in promises kept and confidences held, in boundaries respected and amends made, in showing up again and again. May we be brave enough to risk trust, patient enough to build it slowly, and gentle with ourselves and others when it breaks. Amen. We'll close today's service with the song Count on Me by Bruno Mars, shared by Kevin King, Andrew Schultz, Melanie Willison, and myself. It was off. If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea, I'll sail the world to find you.
If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Oh,
Find out what we're made of when
called to help our friends in need.
1, 2, you
Can
can count.
count on me like 1, 2, 3. I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2. You'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, yeah. If you're tossing and you're turning and you just can't fall asleep, I'll sing a song beside you.
And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you. Oh,
Find out what we're made of when we are called to help our friends in need.
1, 2,
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2. You'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah. You'll always have my shoulder when you cry. I'll never let go, never say goodbye. You know you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do. Oh yeah. Ooh, ooh. You can count on me 'cause I can count on you. Have a good week.